They told me that I'd lost my mind. It was a dumb idea to scalp and top dress my new turf before it had rooted down, and unfortunately I have to report that I killed it. Absolutely killed it. Yes, g'day and welcome to a new video. While the Jim's mowing bloke over the road smashes through all of those weeds, I am here looking at my beautiful Ironcutter lawn. It's 3 weeks since I gave it a cut at 20 millimeters, which turned out to be a scalp, which with uneven and bumpy turf was always to be expected. And then I gave it a nice heavy top dress with sandy loam. And as you can see, stunning color, growing back beautifully. There's some parts where the top dress was a bit heavier, but either way, let's have a bit of a look around. Sorry to regular viewers who have heard this spiel before, but on this front yard, I laid the turf the day before the winter solstice in June because we had a baby born. In the end, 6 days later, so the soil underneath was ultra soggy. The turf, obviously in winter, if it was wet here, it was wet where the turf came from. And so this section was not too bad. That middle section there, especially from when I was washing off the driveway, as well as where the water naturally goes on a bit of a slope on this front yard, that area is especially bumpy, especially from any foot traffic that was on there. And so clearly, a bit of work to be done. Have had a few heroes in the comments over the last few weeks who definitely would never have laid such a bumpy lawn. But anyway, all of those background factors and that sort of thing, you can't always explain that in every single post everywhere. So anyway, I'm really, really happy with how it's looking. Now he's finished the mowing, I really should record that start clip again, but anyway. Top section, really, really good. Down here is where all of the water sort of falls to, and this was a massive pit for the irrigation and for the bore pipe that runs under the driveway. So here, yeah, 25 mils of rain, I think it was, a couple of days ago. More rain last week, so it's soggy in that area. Also down the bottom here of this section it is, but as a whole, it has come in really nicely. That top dress that I used, I've been pulling out little rocks all the last few weeks, but yeah, color's fantastic. See little spots where the top dress was heavier. On the nature strip, pretty solid. Couple little bare spots. The corner of that turf roll actually died off mostly in winter, so that's gonna have to spread and fill itself back in. But man, look at that. Look at that. A few little paw prints, but that's not the end of the world compared to what the postie did the other week. As you see from the title and the thumbnail, I will be top dressing this lawn again in this video, so we'll get to that when we get to it. First up is going to be a cut. So the lawn's second mow, again at 20 millimeters, and we shouldn't really be seeing any scalping anywhere after that top dress that has been done. And then I'm going to be spraying the Lawn Tips mix, liquid fertilizer mix, just to keep kicking this along. Some good seaweed and balanced nutrients in there, so really looking forward to getting that down. And then I'm just going to let that sit on the leaf, and then it'll be tomorrow that we top dress. Well, in the end, there can't be anything but stoked with that final result. To get some stripes out here, they're a little bit scrappy. Definitely, yeah, quite a lot of moisture in the soil from, I think it was 55 or 60 mils of rain we've had over the last 8 or so days. So definitely lots of moisture in here, but ultimately the color is sensational. Awesome to get that Lawn Tips mix on there. A few little spots around the edges where I just want to build it up, so I've got a smoother transition here, and the reel is going to be safe when I'm mowing. The Mowmaster I wanted to use today for consistency from the last cut at 20 mil, but I don't think that'll be my maintenance mower out here longer term. So yeah, cracker of a day. Awesome to get a cut on this lawn and have it looking nice, even though I'm just about to cover it with sandy loam again. So we'll come back tomorrow morning and do that. Another absolute banger of a day today, and top dress is in motion. So I've got the nature strip done here, and the soil from that pile was quite wet. So even this has been down for a while. You can see yeah, not ideal. I really should have covered up that pile to keep it more dry, but particular spots I'm focusing on is some of the spots on the edge here, where there's just a little bit of a lip, and it's, you know, just need to keep refining these spots, which I am sort of doing now for a second time, as well as probably in some spots where I just didn't do a good job when I did it last time. But what I'm using here is a sandy loam. It's the same stuff that is my underlay for this lawn. And the reason I'm using that for my leveling instead of washed sand, basically once that pile of sandy loam is gone, then I will use washed sand on here from then on. For now though, I've got terrible soil under here, so I want to build up a nice layer of good quality sandy loam before I then switch over to sand. And so being a little more organic, when this does fill in some of those holes, damn it, another rock, it will, you know, collapse a little bit. Even some spots in here, like I've just put on thick piles and I'll level it out later, but here it was. Here, you know, I did a good job the other week of top dressing, leveling all this out, and there's still just this little divot here. Like, why is that there? Which brings me to another point to make, which is just that if you've got a bumpy lawn, one top dress is not really enough to get it super level. The point that it is at right this second from that first top dress, really good. If this was a lawn that I wanted to rotary mow at 30 millimeters or something like that, no dramas, wouldn't bother you too much. There's a couple little spots where it's like, this could be better. But because I'm wanting to use cylinder mowers, wanting to protect the reel around the edges, because I'm wanting to cut it really short, that is why I'm biting the bullet early in the season, as much as it's gonna kill me to cover this with soil again, because it's just like a week away from really humming. Getting this top dress on here as well, hit it hard early in the season. It's end of October now, so by mid to late November, I can just be cylinder mowing, enjoying this lawn, maybe do a light top dress at the end of summer or something like that, depending on how it's going. Yeah, that's just my experience. No matter how much you throw out your sand or your material nice and level, you use your leveling rake and you get it looking good, things just settle over time. You get traffic on there, things shift around, you get rain that, you know, anyway. So for me, getting this on here, it should be at a really good point after this top dress, and then as the time goes on after that, it'll just be about refining things. So yeah, let's keep going. Well, that was bloody annoying in the end, unfortunately. As you see there, the soil has just got up into these firm little balls, and it just made leveling really annoying. For the most part, the parts that were okay, you know, the lawn at 20 mil, yeah, really has a lot of room to push the soil into the canopy of it. So yeah, it'll recover, it'll bounce back really quickly, hopefully. But yeah, just really annoying. It's almost like I left it too long while I was eating lunch and stuff, and it got too dry, and then it's just balled up into crusty, annoying little balls. So theory I've got is about potentially grabbing the scarifier, my little Ryobi, putting it on the highest setting and running over the lawn and just trying to break up those balls of soil and then re-level. But either way, I'm gonna have to do something about that in the next couple of days, because for today my baby duty actually started about 10 minutes ago. So just quickly, in terms of volume there, I ordered 2.5 cubic meters, and on the first top dress I probably used about half of that, and for now I've probably got a full wheelbarrow left over, so a decent amount, little touch-ups if I need them. I was hoping to use all of it because I've had soil or sand or mulch or trees on my lawn my driveway for a long time now, but probably good to have a little bit left over. And this is 135 square meters of lawn. So I've used just a little under a cube per 100 in total. So again, that just shows you in terms of that volume I was talking about in my last video with top dressing. 1 cube per 100 is probably, it's definitely a lot of top dress. But yeah, obviously I'm going to come through and clean up the path and everything, but really happy with some of these spots where I just wasn't happy with the transition from the lawn onto the footpath, especially for when it comes to cylinder mowing and not wanting to hit the reel on there, on those bits. So really happy with the end result there. I think that's about all I've got left to say. Now I just need to water this in, which pains me to do with how wet that soil was, with how much rain we've had recently, but I want to water in. Just getting a good water to settle the top dress no matter what is always a good way to go. And I also need to water in those products from yesterday, especially the seaweed. So I'll get that done. Next video I shoot out here, I'll update you on what I did with these balls of soil. Don't be afraid to layer up the lots of top dressers if you're trying to get to a point where you want a cylinder mow and you want a cylinder mow low and you just want to smash it out in a couple of rounds to get to that end result a lot quicker. So yeah, looking forward to some stripes out here once again, once this grows through. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one.